Saudi Arabia is reportedly looking to borrow money from international banks to help stabilize its economy. According to the Financial Times, Riyadh is seeking $11 billion in loans. The decision comes after plans to list its state-owned oil company Aramco in the stock market were delayed. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was looking to use the new revenue to launch economic reforms, including investing in high-tech companies like Uber and Tesla. Aramco is thought to be the world's largest oil company, but a drop in oil prices and the war in Yemen have affected Saudi's economy. Well, let's get more on this now. We're joined by Sami Hamdi, Editor-in-Chief of International Interest. That's the current affairs analysis news website, and he's joining us live from London. Mr. Hamdi, always good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. So it was listing shares in Aramco, then it's not. Now it needs to borrow money. What's going on in Saudi Arabia? How much trouble is the economy in?
I think what we have to remember first and foremost is the context with which the IPO was originally announced. It was technically designed to build confidence, to show the world that nothing is off limits, that Saudi Arabia is genuinely sincere in its pursuit for diversification. So I think it wanted to leverage this particular piggy bank. It was also designed to garner support from Donald Trump to help boost foreign policy by dangling Aramco as potentially being listed in the New York Stock Exchange. Since, however, the announcement of the IPO, things have changed. One, the oil prices have started to go back up as opposed to being low as they were before. But also, Saudi Arabia finds that Donald Trump is having more and more domestic troubles and that their foreign policy that they built around him is now under threat. In other words, it doesn't want to give up a stake in its state secrets, a stake in its biggest cash cow to anybody. It wants to be able to navigate the difficulties that it faces. Let's remember that in Pakistan, they've lost an ally in Nawaz Sharif and Imran Khan has become prime minister. They've lost an ally in Najib Razak in Malaysia. Now they have Mahathir Mohamad, who is revamping this particular foreign policy. But also, Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, faces severe domestic troubles. The swath of political prisoners from Safar al-Hawali, Salman al-Ouda, Awad al-Qarni, Abdulaziz al-Tarifi, Suleiman al-Dawish, all of these other various religious authorities who have lamented Mohammed bin Salman's drive towards liberalization of the particular society. Mohammed bin Salman doesn't want to press Saudi society too hard. A decision of this scale, of this magnitude, of the Aramco IPO could have severe ramifications for Mohammed bin Salman domestically. And also, probably the most important factor in all of this is that there was a stark difference in valuation of Aramco. The Saudis were looking at closer to 2 trillion, whereas everybody else was seeing that it would probably only amount to a trillion or perhaps round about that particular figure. The Saudis were very upset at the valuations that they were receiving. So at the end of the day, if they're not going to get the money that they want for Aramco, why put it up for an IPO? Just get the loans and navigate your way that way.
And so now that they're going to ask international banks to borrow some $11 billion, even though Saudi Arabia has one of the biggest sovereign wealth funds in the world, how much would you say Saudi's troubles right now are because of those domestic issues that you mentioned, and how much of their woes are related to their foreign policy and their foreign policy?
I think what is difficult to ascertain is whether the Saudis were ever really genuine in listing Aramco in New York or in Singapore or anywhere really, and whether this was mainly a PR stunt in order to encourage investment. The reality is that with Trump wavering in the US, Saudi Arabia is unsure what the future looks like, because a Democrat president or an Obama-esque president will probably be pro-Qatar, anti-blockade. He'll probably be anti-Saudi foreign policy and request reforms in Saudi Arabia without giving anything in exchange. I think this is the key issue with regards to Aramco. Saudi doesn't feel it got enough in exchange. There's still severe scrutiny on issues such as Yemen. There's still severe scrutiny on its domestic issues, on the imprisonments that it feels is necessary in order to force through those reforms. And it also feels that international allies are not committed to the reforms in Saudi Arabia. And the proof is that for them is Canada, which is unable to turn a blind eye to what Saudi Arabia sees as necessary measures in order to keep society in check if it's going to push through these particular reforms. So I think with regards to Saudi, it's in a very difficult position. And now when it looks around itself, it thinks, should I give up my main weapon, which is Aramco, and with oil prices starting to go up, should I give that up to foreign investors, to foreign markets, to foreign governments who might seek to invest in it? Or should I keep that to myself? Should I protect the state secrets as to how much reserves I actually have. Remember, Aramco is an opaque organization, and the requirements of New York would require them to release information that Saudi Arabia doesn't want to release. Do I really want to give this up? I think Mohammed bin Salman now is in a situation whereby he is seeking to adapt his foreign policy, but he doesn't know how to do it.
All right,
and
Mr.
I think
Hamdi.
the delay in Aramco IPO is part of this drive.
Mr. Hamdi, we thank you as always for your time and your expertise. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. That is Sami Hamdi joining us live from London. Thank you.